Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Welcome along to TTL F1 and the 6th round of the championship, which takes us to the legendary German Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box is Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
Good evening, Kieran. Yes, I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Looking forward to a German Grand Prix, and for you, it's a second German Grand Prix in 24 hours. That's not too bad.
It is. Mini League 2 proved to be an absolute hit last night, and to be honest, I'm expecting more of the same from TTL F1 tonight as well. I can't wait.
Neither can I, and the simple thing is that we've got such a tight championship, and even though he didn't have the greatest race in Austria, he was rather helped out by other drivers who really didn't have a good race either. It is Dylan Warren who leads at the top of the table. He was telling me about, his last time out should have been his redemption and everything like that, but just where exactly did it all go wrong for Dylan Warren last time out? He leads the championship, so it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah, he finished 6th and was still a very consistent result from him. Obviously, he would have been expecting a better result, but more importantly, he wants to be focusing long term. He does lead the championship on 68 points. 6 points behind, tied for second, Navy and Recon on 62 points, with Carlsbury in 4th on 58. Then there's a bit of a gap to King J, who was 5th on 33, Westy in 6th on 31, Lighty in 7th on 28, I miscounted that. T-Raw and Tim, both on 27. That's where I got the 27 from. Sean on 22 in 10th position. And just to clarify, T-Raw and Tim tied for 8th on 27 points. Mashiro on 20, with Spike in 12th on 19, Cohen on 13th on 18, Mays in 14th on 6, Kiki and Gort tied for 15th on 4, and Jeffrey on the single point. Conti and Regular George yet to score any points. Constructors, Racing Point on 87, Alfa Romeo on 80. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong standings. Racing Point on 87, Alfa Romeo on 80, Ferrari on 68, McLaren on 62, Haas on 61, Red Bull on 44, Mercedes on 32, Renault on 27, Williams on 24, and Toro Rosso on 23. Oh, I can take a breath now.
You can indeed, as we now load up into the 18-minute qualifying. And, the best person to ask about tonight's race is probably you, James, because you were here last night. What can we expect from this track?
We can honestly expect quite a lot of invalidations, I think, in qualifying. Obviously, we've got this 18-minute qualifying, which is different, of course, to last night's Mini League, where we only had the one shot. The drivers have got more time to prioritise their strategies, to prioritise what tyres they're going to be on, but they've got to get the corners right. Turn 1, especially, is going to be such... Well, it's going to test the drivers so much out on track. Turn 1 will. If you just cut it slightly, you're going to pick up an invalidation. Literally thin margins on the inside. And, of course, 3 DRS zones around this track as well. One down the start-finish straight, one down towards turn 2, and one down towards the hairpin at turn 6 as well. Watch out for the hairpin. Good overtaking move. We saw last night plenty of moves happening there in Mini League 2. And also, rarely into Sachs curve. That could be one of the points where the drivers will begin to imagine that they're going to be winning the race. But we've got an 18-minute qualifying session to go first, and I can't wait for this.
Absolutely, and if you're familiar with Formula 1 on Wednesday, you will know, in fact yesterday that was, you will know that they made some changes, some tweaks to the game. Not only is the safety car more likely to come out, including the VSC, if you watched Mini League 1 last night, we had 2 virtual safety cars and 1 actual safety car in 2 races, so it's definitely now more prevalent. But have a look at this, we now have... the mini-map. Look at that. We can actually see some of the track on-track action, although admittedly I did miss like 3 or 4 moves, even with the map on. Oh well, what are you going to do? But at least now we can see exactly where the yellow flags are and where exactly each car is out on track. Of course, each car, or each dot I should say, is colour-coded. And, well, it got a little bit more difficult last night because they're all grey dots because it was the multiplayer cars. But tonight, there's a bit of colour on the track map, which is quite nice to see. We're right on board with Spike then. And for Spike then, it has been a good time for him. You'll notice how my profile got reset. set and only came on about 10 minutes ago, so that's why the camera's all a bit funny at this moment in time. Hopefully I'll get that fixed for next time out, but at the moment you'll have to cope with how it is, I'm afraid. It'll be a little bit inconsistent. Boy, can you put in so much work for that camera and then it does this to you. Anyway, we're riding on board with Spike then as we make our way around the final corner and onwards towards the very fast turn 1. Then it's a sharp right-hander. Use that curve on the left-hand side to help open up the corner as you now make your way through turn 1. Very easy to understeer wide and invalidate your lap time. Heading towards turn 2, braking hard then. Watch the sleeping policeman. Careful not to run too deep there into turns 3 and 4. Yep, it does count turn 4 there. DRS wide open as we head through Parabolica, the German version, through this long left-handed through turn 5 and onwards now. You can see the hairpin just in the distance, heading now down towards turn 6. Heaviest braking zone on the circuit, slowest corner on the circuit as well. Traction here is crucial as we now make our way out of the corner, onwards now towards turn 7. It's a fast right-hander here, full throttle all the way through. Then we get to 8, 9, 10 and 11. There's apparently 4 corners numbered here. Try and pick them out. There's 9 and 10, and then we go through 11 here. Careful not to run too wide. You can invalidate your lap time very easily. Heading now towards turn 12, the fast right-hander. Very easy to attack this one with the curve on the left-hand side. Heading towards Sachs curve through turn 13. It's banked towards the apex, so you can carry a little bit more speed through there. 14 and 15 come at you very quickly. Then it's towards Sud curve of 16 and 17 before we round our way around that final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line. And Spike on a set of the hard tyres sets a 1:13.5. And I can imagine, James, we can see lap times of less than 70 seconds as Dylan Warren crosses the line there on the hard tyres with a 1:12.6.
Yeah, the words were taken right out of your mouth there with Dylan coming in with a 1:12.6. Very nice lap there from the Red Bull driver. Very nice lap there by Spike as well. Obviously, drivers going on to a set of hard compound of tyres. I'm honestly not surprised that they're going for a set of hards because the tyre wear temperatures around here, they do tend to go off the tyres a lot quicker around this track than expected, especially if it's cloudier conditions where the tyre wear will pick off. It's for the race, it's about 4%, I think, on the set of mediums and 5% on a set of softs. The drivers have got to be so careful on the tyres tonight.
Draw 1:14.7. Another great thing about this qualifying with the track map, you can actually see which car is next to the line. So now we've got Navy, and I believe that's Light E behind heading towards the line. Navy, what lap time is he going to set? He's not going to set one. Light E, meanwhile, oh no, that was the wrong Haas. That was the wrong Haas. That was actually King J there, who is on a set of the soft tyres there. Only a Ferrari in the pit lane, and it is, of course, Mays. But other than that, we've got all 14 other cars out on track at the moment looking to set a lap time. The interesting thing is, though, having a look at everything here, we are expecting rain during the race. About 20 minutes into the race, we are expecting rain. As we've got a car there. That's the Gort having a moment just in between turns 12 and 13. Must have just clipped the curb there on the left-hand side, and that will easily spin up those rear tyres. Very easy to do, but that's a lap that will have to be abandoned. And I think there's a choice that the driver has here, especially with rain 20 minutes in. If we're looking at the race being around about 40 to 45 minutes long, possibly in that region, so that's just under half the race before the rain actually hits. So do you put on a set of hard tyres and try and wait out the rain, or do you try and bank that the rain is going to come, bank that you're going to be using wet weather tyres, and just try and use softs or mediums until that rain hits, as Navy sets a 1:12.4?
Yeah, nice lap there by Navy, 1:12.4, goes about 2 tenths ahead of Dill Warren there. Yeah, when you're saying about the rain, Cosby just goes to the top of the standings, actually, the Finn with a 1:12.3. And a set of medium compound of tyres. Again, I'm not really surprised that they're going on these set of tyres. What I would do in the rain, personally, is probably put on a set of hards for the beginning of the race. Still, Warren just goes to the top of the timing screens with a 1:12.3. They're disrupting our rhythm here at the minute with these lap times being set. They're very quick, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, back to the point where I was making about what I would do. I would go for a set of hard compound of tyres, a fresh set of hards. Specifically qualify around mid-pack, 6th or 7th. You never know, you might be in good territory to pick up a few positions early on or to lose a few positions, but when that rain comes, and as you say, it's probably going to be around the halfway stage, I think, 20 minutes in, I would suggest is about lap 15, lap 16. Who was that losing a bit of end plate? Who on earth was that? That was Mashiro. Mashiro's just lost a bit of end plate there, left side. But, yeah, that is exactly what I would do. To be honest,
Well,
put on the cellar hards and wait out for the rain.
Well, there you go then. I'm just having a look back at the camera angle on the stream. It's not as bad as I thought, but still, it's pretty bad. I'll get that fixed for next time around, hopefully. Fingers crossed. The other thing I need to ask as well is what sort of strategy, what sort of setup do you use for the car? Do you go for the dry setup and just try and take advantage of the lap times and the dry weather at the start of the race, or do you go for that wet setup where, okay, you might struggle a bit in the dry, but when the rain hits, you are going to be one of the quickest cars out there?
I would honestly go for dry setup, to be honest. If it's going to be dry at the beginning of the race, automatically think that it is going to dry up towards the end of the race. It might not necessarily say that with the weather, but a dry setup, I think, for the first half of the race will probably gain you a few tenths of a second per lap compared to the wet. If it was intermediate conditions straight away, then obviously you will go for a bit of a mix setup, maybe a dry, maybe a wet setup. It's honestly up to the drivers, really, out on track, how they perceive it. We're the commentators. This is why we are in the commentary box. I'm normally never good giving advice to people either. So just do what you want to do. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Dylan Warren's in the chat there saying, well, it probably won't help anywhere because he's using a setup for the British Grand Prix, so he's clicked the wrong button, I guess. So that's a high aero setup, I can guarantee you that. Carlsbury then on another flying lap as he flies through turn one there on those medium tyres. Really the only driver who set a quick lap time on any other tyre other than the hard there. We've still yet to await a lap time from King J. He's making his way through turn 6 onwards now towards turn 7. May's still in the pit lane. And I'm just having a look on the map there. I can't see what happened there. What happened, James?
I'm not sure, actually, what happened to Mays. I think he might have... Was it Mays? I think just came back into the pits, hasn't he?
I don't think he ever left the pits.
Oh, I'm talking about the wrong person.
Yeah.
It was Recon, the other Ferrari. Yeah, I honestly didn't see what happened there. I was riding on board, actually, with Spike, who was actually just ahead of him out on the track. And he did nearly improve. He ran wide coming through the final corner, picked up an invalidation. He would have improved a tenth of a second. Everyone warming up the tyres. Is it raining out on track? Or is that just my eyes?
I think it's your eyes at the moment.
That's
the best indication of whether or not it's raining or not is look at the halo. If there's streaks of water running down it, that's the surefire sign that there's rain out there. Can't see anything on that halo just yet, so stop creating false drama, James.
I need my eyes testing, honestly.
How far away are you from the screen? About 6 inches, maybe?
About 2 feet, because I'm sitting on my bed, and like the TV screen's right in front of us, so it is a bit strange.
All right, 2 foot. I'll give you that then. All right, fair enough.
T-Raw, by the way, has just gone 5th on a 4-lap old hard compound of tyres, a 113.1. He's doing a really strange strategy, if I've got to be honest. There is a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. That's just a Red Bull, I think, getting out of the way. That was Dylan Warren. But yeah, T-Raw going 5th. About 600 ahead of Spike. Not too bad lap there from the German.
No, not at all. I mean, the strategy for some of the drivers will be to just set as many lap times on that tyre as possible. I mean, why not? Because chances are they'll be looking to put on a new set of tyres towards the end of qualifying. Now, for most of these drivers, if not all of them, this hard set of tyres they have right now, as King J goes 6th place now with a 113.1, these set of hard tyres will only do for once because you've only got one set, I reckon, in qualifying. So I think there's lots of drivers here setting lap times on the hard tyres, but I'm expecting the medium armada to come out at some point in qualifying. I think medium is the way to go purely because of the situation with the rain later on in the race.
Yeah, May's actually interestingly out on a set of soft compound of tyres, so I would think everyone would go on a set of mediums. Let's see how Mays gets on though on this lap. He's just coming towards Parabolica, 16 flat through the first sector for the Ferrari man. He's now coming through Parabolica, not to be confused with the Italian version, of course. There was a driver just going up there into 5th, that was Westy with a 112.7, so the Mercedes driver has also improved out on track, but Mays currently on this lap coming down towards the Mercedes Benz grandstand section. Mays coming through turn 7, then through turn 8, 9 and 10. I count that as 3 corners. I don't know where you find the 4th one from, but regardless, I think it might be on the outside of the curb actually coming through into turn 11. He's purple through the middle sector actually, Mays. 50.4 Whether that is indifference to Dill Warren or to his own personal best is to be explained and probably to be found out towards the end of the lap here. But Mays now through the sud curve, through the final corner at turn 17. This is looking like a good lap. He's not improving. He's nowhere near Dill Warren, but he goes 6th on a set of softs and a 1:12.9. That is a very respectable lap time there from the Brit. Absolutely,
and remember, as Dill Warren there, 1:12.1, just about getting into the 1:12.1s there with a 1:12.199. Remember as well that it's not me that classes that section as 4 corners, James. It's the FIA. The official FOM graphic says that that's 4 corners, 8, 9, 10 and 11. That's why I said find them if you can. I count 3, but there you go. So that's the map I'm using anyway, as Mays winds down the lap. That was Sean, I believe, moving out of the way of Mays there as he makes his way towards turn 7. There you can see on the track map, that's a Red Bull getting out of the way of a Haas there, now trying to create space for himself, but now he's got a Williams coming up behind him as he heads down towards turn 6. That could be pretty interesting. I think it's Mashiro who's on an outlap, and there you can see the Red Bull gets well out of the way. So really good awareness that from the championship leader. With just over 5 minutes of qualifying to go, there is your provisional pole sitter, Dylan Warren, who's on pole position. Carlsbury is in 2nd, Recon 3rd, with Navy 4th, Westy 5th. Mays is in 6th, Traw 7th, King J in 8th, Spike 9th, and Key rounds out the top 10. The Gort in 11th, Mashiro 12th, Sean in 13th, Jeffrey 14th, and Lighty is in 15th place. And there you can see that I believe Warren has run out of fuel. So that is going to make it even more precarious for him to get back to the pit lane.
He literally finished off his lap and he ran out of fuel just after that. So he's still got a long way to go. I think he'll get in for another lap. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Yeah, Dill Warren should be fine to get in for at least another lap, maybe 2 if he's lucky. He shouldn't be weaving because that loses the car's speed. He should be flooring it, putting it on the throttle, full throttle throughout the corners and go into the pit lane. That's what he should be doing.
Well, the closest car behind him you can see is a Mercedes just heading into that Mercedes-Benz Stadium section. So I think he's going to get well out of the way because that Mercedes is fast approaching. I believe that is Jeffrey there in that Mercedes making his way through turn 12. And he's backed out of the lap anyway, so no worries for Warren there.
Yeah, Jeffrey on an outlap actually just coming through the Sachs curve. Warren coming into the pits is fine, and Mays retired from the session. I'm not surprised. I don't think he'll probably find an improvement on that, but it looked a very clean lap from my perspective, a 1:12.9. Carlsbury is on a lap, and he's on a set of softs, and he's 5.5 tenths up coming through the middle sector, and now through Sachs curve at turn 13. Through 14 and 15, Jules runs wide. That might have been an invalidation. I don't think it will be. I think he'll still go to the top of the pile. No, he backs off. Carlsbury not happy with that corner from the exit of Sachs curve, and he's into the pits. Will he be out on another set of softs, do you think?
He's got the time for it, that's for sure. He definitely has time to do it. Meanwhile, Spike here is making his way now through turn 13, onwards through 14 and 15, that quick left-right, and then towards the penultimate corner and the last corner, using that curb on the outside to make it as wide as possible, to carry as much of speed through there as possible. And Spike then goes top of the table, 1:12.0, but I am awaiting the lap times from Warren, from Recon, from Navy, from Westy as well, who's on the bubble there of trying to get onto that front row, maybe even pole position as well. I'm not saying Spike might not hold on to pole position, but with Dylan Warren on the hard tyres, only a 10th back, it's going to be very difficult for Spike to hold on to that one.
You'd imagine Dill will probably improve into the mid-111s, I think. Jeffrey just coming around the final corner on the Mercedes. He's about to come across the line and improve. He goes up to 6th ahead of his teammate, noticeably, by about 1.5 tenths of a second. So Jeffrey with a nice lap there for 1:12.5. There was a yellow flag at Sachs curve. I think that has just gone. That might have been somebody on an outlap. I think it might have been T-Raw, actually. Yep, he's just come around the final corner to start off his lap. I'm trying to pick up on anybody that is on a lap. There's not really many that are on any sort of lap at this stage.
No, I was just looking at Mashiro, but he backed out of his lap there and goes on to start a brand new one. Through turn 1 he goes, and just have a look at that mini-map because that's the best chance that you'll get to see who is on a flying lap, as there is Spike, then you can see coming back into the pit lane there on the mini-map. So Dylan Warren then will lead the Armada then I believe, for one last lap here in qualifying. He'll have time for 2, but I doubt he'll want to do that on a set of these medium tyres. Here he comes then, round the final corner, onwards now towards the start-finish line for what should be his last qualifying lap there. And that could, well, that was through turn 1. That was very dicey there, but he's still going to press on. Here we go then, through turn 2, and then turns 3 and 4 follow shortly afterwards onto that long curved straight, if that makes any sense, through Parabolica's Westy. 1:11.9 from the Mercedes there, and we're going to get some times thick and fast in this session. We've got Mashir, I believe, heading towards the line. It was the Gort there, 9th place from him into the 112s. And where are some other cars? I think Traw's on a lap as well, making his way around the final corner. Lighty and King J won't be too far behind. Traw then 3 seconds down, but he's now starting his lap. So too is Lighty. And where is Dylan Warren? He's making his way now towards turn 12. Now heading into the 3rd sector. Flying through there now, onwards he goes towards Sachs Curve and turn 13, banking towards the apex there to help you carry a little bit more speed through the corner, then through 14 and 15, then towards 16 and 17. Round we go then through the final corner. Ooh. He runs wide there as well, heading towards the line. What's it going to be? It's a 1:11.5. The lap stands and he gets provisional pole position. Westy then has to back out of that one, as he will not be getting pole position. Here comes King J towards the line, currently P12, gets onto the 2nd row, 4th place then from King J as he makes his way up the order. We've got Carlsbury as well on a lap. He's on the soft tyres, so that'll be an interesting one to watch as the checker flag has fallen. Recon out there on a lap. We've got Mashiro who's taken a checkered flag. The Gort comes back into the pit lane. So too does the Alfa Romeo behind. I believe that is of Sean there, who's come into the pit. Carlsbury's still on a lap then as Traw goes 4th place then in the standings. The Gort's retired from the session. Lighty up into the top 10. He qualifies in 9th place for now. How about Recon towards the line? Takes provisional pole. 1:11.533 from the Dutchman there. And that was a great lap time from the Ferrari there, but it's not over yet. Key then qualifies in 14th place. Carlsbury then making his way, winding down the last few corners on his flying lap. And let's see what he can do then, heading around the final corner. Keep it all together as he heads towards the line. Can this break pole position? Oh. Yes, it can. 1:11.4 from Carlsbury. And there is your provisional pole sitter for now. I don't think Warren's on a lap. No, I don't think he is. So that is your pole sitter then for this race. It is Carlsbury who gets pole position for the German Grand Prix.
Remarkable lap by Carlsbury on a set of soft competitive tyre. The only one in the top 10 to go on a set of soft competitive tyre. The Finn really coming about there, and I thought Recon had it, but Carlsbury found a little bit extra through the final couple of corners.
Yeah, Carlsbury using those soft tyres to his advantage and grabbing pole position by just over 1/10 of a second. That is his first pole position of the season. Recon in 2nd place with Warren in 3rd. Westy in 4th with Spike qualifying in 5th place. Good qualifying from him. Watch out for him in the race. Draw in 6th with Navy in 7th. King J in 8th with Lighty in 9th. And Sean rounds out the top 10. It's Jeffrey in 11th. The Gort in 12th. Mays in 13th. Key in 14th. And Mashiro qualifies in P15. All of the top 10, apart from Navy, starting on the medium tyres, apart from Carlsbury as well. Carlsbury starting on the soft tyres. Navy, hard tyres, 1:12.3. He will be one to watch.
Yeah, Navy bound to be one to watch on a set of hard competitive tyres. Now, the only thing I'm concerned with is if he's listened to me for what I said earlier on about the strategy. I hope he hasn't listened to me and he's doing his own thing. But he's starting, I think, 8th on a set of hard. Watch out for him in the early couple of laps. The drivers ahead will be the telling factor. If there's a little bit of contact further up the field, Navy, I think, could be the one to really pick up the pieces tonight.
Well, let's see how it goes. You can see the clouds are looming. The safety car is ready to be deployed if it's needed. And, of course, we saw last night in Mini League... I don't know about Mini League 2. I didn't actually see a safety car.
Yeah, we didn't get one iota of a safety car, not even a VSC. Well done, Cordies, well done.
Well, we were treated to 2 virtual safety cars, 1 in each race, and a full-on safety car. Although,
how come you get all the action? Goodness me.
My luck is 20 out of 10. I'll tell you that right now. commentating is 20% shouting in the mic and 81% luck. Here we go then, on towards the German Grand Prix then here in TTL. And it is Carlsberg on pole position with Recon right behind him. And I have to say, it was a great lap from Carlsberg, but he's on the soft tyres, which puts him in a little bit of no man's land as to when that rain will hit. Now, on the driver's standings and on the driver's telemetry sheet, it will tell them about 20 minutes into the race there is predicted rainfall. But that is when the track is actually wet, not when the rain is falling. So it's a little bit misleading in that. So it could rain before that 20-minute mark. And if it does, then it might favour, I would say, the hard running tyre, because normally when it starts to rain, the harder the compound you are, the easier it is to control the car, because the tyre is robust and it can deflect some of that water, whereas the softer compounds will absorb it, therefore giving you less grip. You see, I did physics, me. I know my stuff. But yeah, Carlsberg slowing Recon down there, giving him a little bit of a not necessarily a brake check, but a sort of stay behind me, keep in line, which Recon has to do as Carlsberg is the lead car then. Well, let's have a look at the tyre strategies, and the only one starting on the soft tyre is our pole sitter Carlsberg in the Alfa Romeo. Everyone in the top 10 obviously has to start on the tyre they qualified on. That leaves the outside of the top 10 people. It is Jeffrey on the hard tyres, the Gort on mediums, Mays on hards, Key on mediums, and Mashira at the back there also starting on a set of the hard tyres. As Carlsberg comes around the final corner and onwards now towards the grid, 15 drivers will start this race. Place your bets now. Are we going to see a safety car? Place them now in the chat. Who are you supporting for this race as well in this one? Let us know who you are, who the flags are flying for. But with everyone on the grid, we are now moments away from the German Grand Prix here in TTL F1. And we look on board with Carlsberg as he looks towards those red lights, ready to signal the start of this race. As we count them up now, it is 5 red lights. We are underway, and what are the starts like? It's a good start there from Draw in the background. An even better start from Carlsberg. Look at Westy looking to take up the inside. Oh, he spun it instantly. Westy spins at the first corner, and he's taken out the Gort as well. Big crash on a safety car instantly at this one. It took James an entire 24 hours to see a safety car, but it has come at the very first lap. And Westy there tried to go down the inside of Warren into turn 1. They made contact. Westy's around. The Gort and Westy have tangled. And that has deployed the safety car here in TTL F1. So everybody can just calm it down a bit and think about their thoughts. They'll go from pretty much a standing start now to a rolling start. It just depends on how long that rolling start will take to get underway. But you can see the safety car is that little pink dot there waiting on the exit of turn 4 just before Parabolica. So it's there, it's waiting to pick up Carlsberg. I wonder if Carlsberg might come into the pits. It's an option he can have here to come into the pit lane, but honestly I don't know why. He's got to stay out.
Yeah, I think he has to stay out, to be honest. Obviously, the rain is going to come. And with the safety car period, actually, it will bring that rain period just a lap or two, maybe a bit sooner than expected. So watch out for this. Obviously, with the safety car coming out, Cosby staying out. Recon, though, I thought he was coming into the pit. He's done a Hamilton, nearly couldn't have crossed the grass there, and that's a bit of lag. Goodness me, I thought Recon was coming in. Mays also got caught up in the turn 1 incident. I think Warren, too wide into turn 1 was never going to work. That will get investigated by the stewards for sure.
Jeffrey in then to change his front wing, and of course now with the safety car, that will allow him to really take this with not really so much of a penalty, but he has to now run the medium tyres. Obviously, with these tyre setups and these tyres that they bring, they only give themselves one set of hard tyres for the race. That's it. So Jeffrey now will have to leave the pit lane, go onto the medium set of tyres, but at least now he'll be able to rejoin at the back of this. Hello! It's been a long time, good old friend, but the virtual Bernd Mailander is finally leading the pack here in TTL F1 for Season 16, and it is Carlsberg following close behind as the actual leader of this race. Recon in second, Dylan Warren is in third with Navy in fourth, Traw fifth with Spike in sixth, Lighty in seventh, King J in eighth, Sean in ninth, Mashiro in 10th, Key in 11th, Mays in 12th, and Jeffrey there just trying to catch up to the back of the patch, which he will in 13th place. Of course, the Gore and Westy eliminated from this race after that turn 1 incident.
Yeah, I think coming on to that incident, Golf was really unlucky in it. Westy had the car pretty much 90 degrees parallel from essentially turning through a right-handed corner. It's 90 degrees from the turn 1. That's where his car was positioned. There was a car on Golf's outside, so he really had nowhere to go. And obviously that will get investigated. But with the safety car out and with another lap of it still to go, Carlsbury is not going to come into the pits. I think he's doing the right strategy, to be honest, staying out there. And obviously Recon, Maze and Kiki is off track. What happened there with Kiki?
Well, what happened there with Kiki, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, it's raining! It's starting to rain!
It's
on lap
not.
3, it is! It's starting to rain here out on track!
Oh my god.
Look at the halo! Yeah, there's rain falling! Well, well, well. I'll tell you what. This might fall not necessarily into Carlsbury's hands, but it will fall into the medium runner's hands here. The hard tyres might start to struggle here because once there's rain on the track, the tyres start to get cooler and cooler. And with the hard tyres, it becomes so much more difficult to keep the heat in those tyres as more and more rain starts to fall. Of course, it's not instantly into the intermediates or into the wet weather. Obviously, with a bit of damp on track, you can still keep control of these cars. You just have to take the outside lines, as most of the drivers will know from karting days. With slick tyres, stick to the outside of the track. That's where most of the grip will be. But I wonder here how long this safety car will last, because if it lasts for any longer than a lap, it's going to pose a serious question to the drivers as to what they do in terms of tyre strategy. It's nowhere near ready for intermediate conditions, but I don't think we're too far away.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple of laps away yet. Maybe towards like lap 8, lap 9, I'm thinking, with the priority of the tyre. I think we'll probably see the safety car come in this lap. It should come up on the run up towards the next corner through turn 11. Perfect timing.
The perfect timing.
Predicting the future.
Have you been watching the safety car, James? Oh, Jeffrey's got a severe collision with Kiki under the safety car. Well, well, well. So that must have been miscommunication there. But anyway, Carlsbury will now be at the helm here. He will now lead the pace towards the start-finish line. And of course, if you are not familiar with the new rules of the safety car for 2019, there is no more safety car line before the start-finish line. The start-finish line is the safety car line. But Carlsbury cannot go up to racing speed until the safety car is under or is in past the safety car line. But there you can see, now it's in, and now Carlsbury can go for it through in towards turn 1, and the restart, we are underway. Green flag racing through turn 1. Carlsbury will lead the pack then. Key has managed to get the move on. Maze then into turn 1. We've got a car around. It's Navy. Navy's lost the back end then, and into the wall he goes. He'll be able to spin the car around, but that is a nightmare for the Dutchman there, and so much was resting on his shoulders there. He had a chance of really doing well in this race, but here is Spike, meanwhile, looking to try and make some moves. Recon, meanwhile, is down the inside of Carlsbury, in towards turn 6 here, up the inside. He has to go onto the curb, but there is Carlsbury, still on the outside, still gets that traction and holds on to the lead of the race. Spike couldn't find a way past Straw either in towards turn 6 as we make our way through turn 7, as we now see a change for the lead. Recon trying to go up the inside, this time in towards turn 8. He'll have to be on the outside for 11 as he now makes his way through. Carlsbury holds on. Here comes Warren though. Recon instantly defends in towards turn 12 here. Recon might get a little bit of understeer, which he does, and Warren runs into the back of him there. Not expecting that understeer. And he has lost an end plate, you're right. Through turn 13 he goes, but he now has to just stay out there. Spike, meanwhile, has got the move past Straw then, even before the S section there. So really good move from Spike then. He really has come alive in this race. It's great to see him getting so used to that wheel, as Carlsbury now sets the fast lap of the race in a 1:17 flat. Absolutely flat. 1:17.000. It's not often you see a lap time like that, so somebody take a photo. But at the end of the 4th lap and the start of the 5th one, Navy comes into the pits to repair that front wing. I'm not so sure. I think he probably should have stayed out, because now he's got to go through a pit stop to repair that front wing, and he'll have to pit again for the eventual tyre change onto some wet tyres. Meanwhile, Recon is going to go again down towards turn 6. Up the inside he goes. He's got to slow the car down in time. The Alfa Romeo will have the switchback on him. Mashiro, meanwhile, in the background, background, trying to go down towards turn 6. He's got the move done on Sean. Side by side we go with the 2 race leaders through turn 7 and now towards turn 8.
No.
Carlsbury has to be around the outside. He'll have the inside though for 10 and 11 more importantly, but look at Recon around the outside. They're still side by side as we head now towards turn 12. Recon tries to close the angle and he gets the move done. Really good stuff from Recon. He made that difficult for Carlsbury. And Carlsbury, although he tried to keep the pressure on, couldn't quite do it. Recon takes the race lead.
What a battle that was. Carlsbury still trying to get back at him through the inside. Won a helicopter cam on my end anyways. Carlsbury now within the slipstream. Of course, the DRS now enabled as we come on to lap 6. Recon then has taken the lead of the race. Carlsbury in second. What that has done really has spiced things up. Navy, by the way, did a Leclerc-esque spin into the wall. He just purely lost it on the exit of the corner. Carlsbury, though, is beginning to attack once again on Recon as we now come through Parabolica. Mays is down a position. Jeffrey up the inside into turn 2, that was. Jeffrey's got the move done, but Carlsbury right on the back of Recon down towards the hairpin. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside? He is. The Finn is down the inside of the Dutchman. He forces the car out wide, and fair play to the Finn. He ran him out of room, and that's what you call driving. Nice tight-knit driving. Wasn't better to say something else there. But Carlsbury and Recon are still going at it, but look at this. Warren and Spike running behind.
Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of battles happening behind as well. It's really hard to keep up. 3 positions were changed between 6 cars going through the hairpin. No wonder we can't keep up. Jeffrey, meanwhile, gets away past Mays. King J is right on the back of Mashiro, who moves up to 7th place. Spike then, one of the fastest people on track right now as we head towards lap number 7. He'll be looking to try and take full advantage of this, though, heading through the final corner. It's all about these changeable conditions, and Spike does quite like these changeable conditions. I know that from experience. He does like them and almost has a sixth sense of when to pit in. He sometimes pits in before the DRS is disabled, which is a surefire sign that the changeover is happening. Normally it happens when he's in the pit lane, so he times it perfectly. Let's see what happens tonight.
Yeah, track definitely getting a lot damper, I've got to say. You can see the tie marks, actually, especially through the sub-curve, where I was on board with. Recon, though, is looking to the outside of Carlsbury for the lead of the race. Can he find a way through? He'll try and switch it back. Still Warren very close to the backside there of the Ferrari, but Carlsbury holds on to the position. And the Finn, with a little bit of battling in behind as well. T-Ron Lighty. Recon is going to have him, though. Is it around the outside? He was a little bit early on the brakes. Carlsbury has committed the car, and I tell you what, that is a brilliant defensive move from Carlsbury. It turning pretty much a negative into a positive there. I thought it was done and dusted, kickers and custard for Recon, but Carlsbury is still in the lead of this race, and somehow those softs have not gone off yet.
Well, they would have been helped by 3 laps under the safety car as well. Don't forget about that. So he'll be able to take them a little bit further into this race. And as the rain starts to fall, that tyre wear starts to get a little bit less and less as you're not travelling as fast. The tyres might not be working as hard as they would be under the conditions in, well, complete bone dry conditions. But Carlsbury leading on at lap number 8 here in the Alfa Romeo. Recon right behind him, though, in 2nd place. Dylan Warren is in 3rd with Spike there currently in 4th place, looking to try and take advantage of anybody who tries to or makes a mistake. Jeffrey picking up a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Recon then round the outside of Parabolica with some DRS. That looked very, very easy there. Of course, it's never as easy as it looks, as he's now got to slow the car down. He's outbraked himself into turn 1, and that is the surface water on the track, making the braking distances increase. So that is what he's got to watch out for. He's managed to hold on there because running deep into the corner allows you to carry more speed on the exit on the run up to the next corner, and with an extended straight here, or extended run through turn 7, he was able to get up to speed quicker than Carlsbury. So I'm not sure whether that was intentional or not, but he's managed to hold on to the lead.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional whatsoever, but he has pulled it off. That traction around the outside coming through the hairpin at turn 6 really does pay off. The outside is always the place to be in wet conditions around here in Germany, and I've seen that from my experience myself. There is a 4-car train. Hop on board with this one because Mashiro, King J, Sean and Kiki are battling out for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th out on track, all running a set of medium compound tyres apart from Mashiro, who may be just holding up these guys slightly, but the DRS train is in full operation as Spike is on the back of Dill Warren, who runs massively wide through turn 2. Spike says thank you very much for that one. Dill making an uncharacteristic mistake. Spike's up at 3rd.
Yeah, and again, the surface water is catching people out here. The rain is falling not as quickly as it has been at other tracks this season, so that's why it's catching people out. People are thinking, oh, there's grip here, definitely. Light E sending one down the inside of Traw. Meanwhile, and there you can see King J launching a move on Mashiro, with Sean launching a move on Key, I think there. Yes, he has. So 3 positions once again change at the hairpin, and no wonder we can't keep up, James. They're overtaking faster than we can speak.
Yeah, fantastic move there by actually King J to take 7th place from Mashiro. Sean taking Kiki down the straight. I think they were running side by side. Sean had got the move done down the straight. Draw defending the position from Lighty as well for 5th and 6th. It is all beginning to spread itself out slightly, but I've got to commend the drivers. What would you do in these situations, though? Would you really adapt the driving style lap upon lap with the wetting conditions out on track? This is what the drivers are going to have to be doing. They're going to have to be changing their driving style lap upon lap.
Yeah, and the track is not going to be the same lap after lap. Mashiro thought about a move into turn 1, but probably remembered what happened at turn 1 all those laps ago.
Turn 2.
And yeah, he should get him at turn 2, but will he? He will want to try and stay behind the Haas for the next detection point. Now he'll be on the outside for turns 3 and 4 with the Haas up the inside there. There you can see the next detection or activation point, I can say. And Mashiro now will have the DRS and the run down through Parabolica and down towards the hairpin we go. King J is still holding on though, trying to hold on even with that front wing damage. In towards turn 6 we go. They're battling on the exit here, but Mashiro has the outside line, he has the traction and is able to move up a position. King J there with the damaged front wing might have actually helped him here with the straight line speed as he looks to go down the inside here at turn number 8 as he tries to hang on there, but Mashiro once again manages to hold on. King J will get a better run through 11, but he's got nowhere to put the car through turn 12, and the Japanese driver of Mashiro stays in P7.
Yeah, good driving that from the Japanese driver. King J, though, not giving up without a fight, and he's still on the back of him. Sean and Kiki have now joined this once again to make it a 4-car battle for 7th. Spike trying to get a little bit closer to Carlsbury. That gap for the lead just beginning to pull out slightly. Recon, as actually King J is into the pits to repair front wing damage. Surely not for a set of inters, because that track does not seem to me as if it's wet yet. I think it's a good couple of laps away. It is for a set of inters.
It is, yes. So inters and a front wing change for King J. He thinks it's time then, and by the time he's got the front wing on, yeah, well, it is a gamble, but he might be in the paddock of nothing to lose because he's already lost his front wing. He'll rejoin, he might rejoin side by side with Navy here, but Navy, if he can play his cards right, might get himself a position here. Let's see if the Belgians' gamble pays off then, down towards turn 2. That DRS is still online. Meanwhile, Key and Sean are battling away in towards turn 6. And, well, I think in terms of King J, he'll look at it this way. The track's only going to get wetter and wetter at this moment in time. If he's got front wing damage, he might as well repair it now. He's only going to blister those tyres in the long run. And let's see how that move goes off for the Belgian.
Yeah, King J not losing much time, I've got to say, to Navy at this stage. Saying that, he has just lost about 0.2 of a second there from Navy. But he's not losing that much. We could be aiming towards the crossover period because that rain does appear to be getting heavier as Carlsbury's into the pits, as Dill Warren is into the pits. I think it's time.
Yeah, here we go.
The drivers certainly think it's time.
Some of them do, absolutely. Recon and Spike stay out for another lap here. They obviously feel like it's not quite time just yet, but Dylan Warren goes on to, well, he's got one hard tyre on the rear right there. Hopefully that will change, and it will. There we go, it is an intermediate tyre. Whew, that was a close one there between himself and I believe that's Mashiro into the pit, who also goes on to a set of intermediate tyres. So Carlsbury then rejoins ahead of Jeffrey. And that will provide a little bit of dividends for him. Mays and Warren running side by side through turn 2. This will show us who has the better grip then through turns 2 and 3 and 4. As we go around here, and Dylan Warren round the outside gets the move done. Meanwhile, Key, he's run way too deep into turn 6 there. Tried to get the move done, and there you can see that is Sean trying to close the door then, which he does. And Key there just running too deep at turn 6, and Sean was claiming that position all day long.
Yeah, if Sean actually positioned his car to the right-hand side just that little bit, I think Key would have got the position, but you can really see how hard these drivers are now fighting out on track. The rain getting heavier, the inters beginning to come into play. Dill Warren really beginning to pull away from Mays. He's on an 11 lap set of hard comparative tyres, and he's beginning to pull away. We are at that crossover period, and the leaders are in. I'll predict DRS disabled either this lap or next lap.
Let's have a wait and see. We've got lots of drivers coming in, but Key is coming in at the same time as his teammate Spike, so that's not going to be good. He's going to cost time coming into the pit lane. Where is Carlsbury then? He's making his way down the start-finish straight, heading through turn 1, and he is through past Spike, but he gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Recon then emerges in the lead of this one, and still DRS is not offline. How about Warren, though? He's in 5th place right now. Traw has rejoined ahead of him then as we head towards turn 2. So staying out that lap extra has really helped these drivers right now. The drivers who pitted in a lap earlier really lost at sea.
Yeah, really lost out. Dill Warren actually nearly lost it through turn 1. He's now right on the back of Traw. DRS still enabled, but I think it will be coming offline this lap. Dill now to the outside. Traw down the inside is locked up into the hairpin. Of course, they've got to be. There's DRS disabled right there with race control just coming on. But Traw and Dill Warren keep the same positions as they are. Mashiro and Key begin to battle it out as well. Mays, unfortunately, the only one out of a set of dry companion tyres. It won't be too bad for him because he's only got half the lap to go around, and he should hold the position for 7th. But that could serve him up actually a little bit better towards the end of the race.
Now, the other interesting thing is, will the intermediate tyres make it to the end of this race from this position? Now, they are hard tyres, these intermediate tyres. They are supposed to be durable, as are the wet tyres. But can they make it to the end of this race, I wonder? Sean then getting a move done on Mays as he starts to fall down the order. I don't think he's making this battle too difficult then as he makes his way through. There you can see that opposite lock then through the chicane as he tiptoes his way into the pit lane. Finally makes it back. Meanwhile then, we're joining once again with Warren and Traw then as we make our way towards turn 2. No DRS this time around. Warren's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with ERS. No, that doesn't work, does it? Old-fashioned way and ERS. they don't quite work in the same sentence. But he's going to have to use good old slipstream, that's for sure then. Through Parabolica we go, and he'll turn up the ERS for this one. Looking in that slipstream, where will he go? Will he go to the left or the right? He'll go to the right then, down the inside then at turn 6. Can he stop the car in time? Braking distances are increased in the wet then. He'll try and hug the inside line and try and close the door, but not good enough because Troll, look at this then, steaming his way through. He'll have the outside line for turn 7. Is it full throttle? No, it wasn't for Troll there, and he had to back out of that one, and Dylan Warren takes a hold of 4th place.
Fair play to Troy, I think, for backing out, because side-by-side in intermediate conditions through turn 7 is an absolute bugger for the drivers. I've seen drivers go off there too many times going side-by-side. And Warren, and he's off! Warren's off! He's lost it through turn 12. He rejoins track. How on earth has he kept that on track and only lost a position is beyond me. Wow. What a recovery.
Troy's lost it! Draw's lost it on the entrance into turn 16. They are really struggling out there. As now, look at this. Light E is right behind his old-time friend Traw as we make our way up towards turn 1. Warren with a mistake. Traw with a mistake as well. And Light E's now right behind the both of them as we've got yellow flags in sector 3. That is Navy, I think, there, who's
Navy.
Also had a moment just before turn 13. So it's very tricky, these conditions. You can tell now. If you couldn't tell before, you can definitely tell now as we make our way on board now with Light E. Oh, Warren's lost it again!
Oh my God!
Just about collected that one. My goodness, he's having to work so hard. I can tell you now that Silverstone setup put on Warren's car is just not working in these wet weather conditions.
Yeah, definitely not working. He should have put a Germany setup on as Lighty tried to look up the inside of Troll. Of course, full teammate, of course. Mashiro has just sent it down the inside at the hairpin, however, and the Japanese man is up to P8. Nice move that by Mashiro on Key and the both on relatively similar strategies. Just coming on to your point earlier on about the tyres, whether they can make it under very careful tyre wear, they will be able to make it 20 laps no problem. But that is only if the drivers do really keep calm and carry on the tyres. But at this stage, I wouldn't be for a cause of concern because the tyres will drop off at about 3 or 4% per lap. The drivers have got to be careful. They could do a splash and dash at the end.
They could do a splash and dash, but obviously you don't lose that much time when you're on a worn set of intermediates than if you're on fresh sets of intermediates. But what you do lose is that water dispersion. So in effect, you spray up less water because the tread gets thinner and thinner, and you've got more chance of aquaplaning. Meanwhile, Dylan Warren here is... oh, look at that. Lighty runs so deep into turns 2 and 3 there. He's able to hold on, but Warren might get the better run here through turn 4, but he just can't quite get the power down when he wanted to, and now he's got to look in the slipstream of Lighty once again, heading down towards turn 6. Will he try and move up the inside? No. He's turned his ERS all the way down. He's thinking about it. He's positioning his car so that he can. He'll definitely have a look up the inside there. A little bit of contact between himself and Lighty, but both Germans there, Traw and Lighty, opting to go for the outside line at the hairpin. And as you can see, it really did work there. It's not as simple as taking the dry line. Once you put on wet tyres, you can take the dry line. You really have to experiment as where the grip is, and especially around low-speed corners, the outside line is the place to be.
Yeah, Lighty nearly having a moment there out of turn 10, I think that was. But yeah, the drivers have to really experiment. Traw has just nearly lost it coming towards Sack's curve. That was a little bit of a half moment there from him, if I've got to be honest. But these drivers are really struggling out on track. All of this, though, all of this mid-pack, well, not mid-pack battling, all the battles from 4th downwards has really spread out the lead of the race as well. We are through halfway. Recon leads 2.2 seconds. Carlsbury in 2nd, Spike in 3rd. I think that's your podium as you see it right there, to be honest. Traw 4th, Lighty 5th. Warren in 6th, right on the back of Lighty. Is he going to try and go for the move down into turn 2? Not close enough. He'll wait for the ERS to be deployed. King J is into the pits. Has he picked up any front wing damage, I wonder? And he has retired, actually, in the pits. So clearly not enjoying it there out on track. And he has retired. Sean is 7th, Mashiro 8th, Key in 9th, Jeffrey 10th, Navian 11th, Mason 12th, Warren right on the back of Lighty. Though Lighty was just nearly forcing him off track there for a moment.
No,
Warren
not a chance. That Warren was trying to go around the outside when there just wasn't any room. Lighty made that perfectly clear. But Warren tried the move anyway, didn't work. And there you can see, once again, Lighty getting a really good run through the hairpin. And Warren's car is just not doing well at that slow speed corner. It seems to be okay everywhere else, though.
Yeah, looking good at the minute. Mashiro right on the back of Sean. 4.5 tenths off. This battle really beginning to get going for 7th and 8th. The Alfa Romeo and the Williams, of course, with the AlphaTauri in behind of Key. Of course, they're going to be known as AlphaTauri for the 2020 F1 season. Car launches just 2 weeks away in real-life Formula 1. Some of them, I think, are nearly a week and a half away. But Mashiro right on the back of Sean, and just coming through Sud Curve and through turn 17 once again. He's not going to be close enough for the move, but just watch out for him, because I think he's got a much better exits out of his corner. You can really see he applies the power going through out of the corner, and Sean just having a slight moment there, but Mashiro's beginning to come into this. I wouldn't rule him out for top 5.
Well, Mashiro's best finish so far this season has been 7th place thrice. Not once, not twice, but thrice. He loves the number 7 here. Mashiro then looking for a move at Parabolica. You can see there the track is getting damp here as we now make our way down towards turn 6. He's on the outside line, but as it's proven to be, that's where you want to be. Sean here up the inside. Will he get the power down? Actually, he will, you know. Oh, there's contact between them there as they both back out the throttle, and there goes Key, who says thank you very much, I'll take that position. Fair play to both of them. They managed to back out of that one. Not quite sure, they just locked tyres it seemed, but whether Mashiro was half a car alongside, whichever way you want to look at it, just looked to me like it was just a little bit of a misunderstanding there rather than anything cynical, and they both backed out of it. Mashiro got the position.
Yeah, Sean weaving there to say I'm sorry, I think, there to Mashiro, and he has let him through, actually, for position. So that is really good. But Key striking up an opportunity there to take 2 free positions from him. He's now on for a 7th place finish as it stands. But Mashiro and Sean, the big talking point there, it just looked like Sean had got the power down, but he couldn't really get it through the gears. That is why the car spun towards Mashiro. It's literally nothing as, and he's let him through. Good sportsmanship, Sean, there, and that's what we like to see.
Well, Sean here is going to try and get past Mashiro down towards Parabolica. Key obviously getting that position there. Up he went into 7th place. Mashiro then got the move done on Sean from 8th place and moves into 8th place. Yes, you did hear that right.
Yeah, Mashiro did obviously getting the position done. He's right on the back then of Key, running down towards the hairpin. Breaking slightly later there than Key, actually, but still in the same positions. I think we could see a 3-car battle. I'll tell you what, though, Lighty beginning to get a little bit closer to Troll for 4th position. 9/10 of a second separating these guys. I think Lighty's beginning to gel with the conditions, and he's beginning to close Troll in, as that was Warren nearly losing the car off the curb through turn 10.
Oh,
nearly lost it, and he's lost it through turn 12. At turn 11 even, or turn 12. I'm missing up my corners here.
Our championship leader is really struggling out here, down in 6th place at the moment. Key is right behind him, 7th place. His best finish so far this season was 8th place at the Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah,
Warren not really liking these conditions. Carry on with what you're saying, sorry.
Well, here comes Sean then, looking for a way past Mashiro on towards turn 1, but of course not really an overtaking opportunity. Wasn't an overtaking opportunity on lap 1 in the dry, let alone lap 20 in these trecky conditions. Down towards turn 2 we go. Let's ride aboard with Lighty as well, as he looks to try and close in on his longtime friend Troll. They love to be teammates together. They've had to be rivals this season. One in the Renault, one in the Haas. It's a move that broke both of their hearts, but they've got to leave that in the paddock here. They've got to focus on that position, and it is 4th place they're battling for. Troy is losing more and more time on Spike here now, 13.5 seconds between himself and a chance of a podium, and Lighty here might fancy his chances.
Lighty's got, goodness me, he's got, I'm trying to go for quick maths here, 25% of ERS for Troll. Lighty's got 94% ERS. 94%. Obviously it's not really effective in the wet, but Lighty is really beginning to run at Troll for 4th position. Sean as well on the back of Mashiro, just coming towards Sachs curve. Once again, Sean nearly into the back of him, but not quite. And the Japanese driver hanging on there, but 2 battles beginning to develop. Take your pick.
I'll have both, please. Can we have split screen, please?
Colesbury beginning to close in on the leader, I think, as well.
Well, 2.4 seconds between himself and the race leader, Recon, as they're both now in towards the hairpin. But Recon does still lead this race ahead of Carlsbury. Yes, Recon ahead of Carlsbury. Yes, I got that right. I thought I got that right. Spike is in 3rd place there. Troy in 4th. Lighty looking to try and close in on his compatriot down towards turn 6. Not quite close enough. Watch out as well for Sean here, looking to try and reel in Mashiro once again. But again, it just doesn't quite happen. As he turns down the ERS, he knows it's not happening this time around. But if there's one thing you can rely on here is mistakes. I mean, it's so easy, especially the fast chicane towards the end of the lap. The undulation there, you don't have to worry about it in the dry, but in the treacherous wet conditions, it can become an ice rink. It's just so treacherous through there. You have to be careful.
Yeah, it just adds another dynamic really to the racing that we have out on track. Sean, again, using those undulations actually to good effect in that case, and Mashiro right under pressure now from the Brit in behind, and I'm on board with them at this stage, and you can really see how much these drivers are struggling. If anybody's running cockpit cam, then I salute you in these conditions, because if you're running behind the driver in front, then honestly you are pretty much done. Warren is into the pits.
Now, I don't think it's wet enough for wet tyres.
Inters.
So this is going to be another inters. So this will now get him to the end of the race, that's for sure. It's just a tyre change, and away he will go. Mashiro there getting a 3-second time penalty for cutting turn 1 there, but that is multiple warnings, so it's not necessarily at turn 1, but the latest one was awarded because of turn 1. But Sean is now 4/10 behind, once again in that slipstream. He'll try and turn up the ERS as high as he possibly can, but there is the reason why Mashiro is doing quite well at the straight lines, is because actually the car is underfueled at the moment, as Sean looks to try and get a move, try and get as close as he can in towards turn 6. But yeah, with Mashiro running lighter fuel, it means the car obviously is lighter, therefore it handles better, therefore it goes down the straights better. So at this moment in time, it's great. But the thing is, in these wet conditions, sometimes you want a bit of fuel to weigh the car down, especially because the fuel tank's towards the rear of the car, and the power, it all comes from the rear. So it's a bit of swings and roundabouts here.
Yeah, another thing I've noticed as well with Mashiro, when Sean is directly behind him out on track, he just actually flicks the car towards the inside through the kink at Parabolica at turn 5, and he breaks the toe by about a 1/10 of a second, but that is enough to disrupt the flow of the car in behind as well, which is Sean in this case. And he's right on the back of him here. Well, right on board actually, because I want to try and pick up. I'll see if he does it this lap, because he definitely did it last lap around. Will he do it this lap around? Mashiro, though, beginning to pull away slightly from Sean, who is still directly behind him. And Navy is into the pits for another set of inters. I don't think these set of inters are going to last that long.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, that is Navy's third stop of the race. It has not been his day whatsoever. Obviously, he got front wing damage early on in the dry stint whilst it was drizzling out there. Then he pitted in, put on another set of dry tyres, then had to come back in again to put on the inters, and then another set of intermediates. Oh, Sean got onto the grass there, just about slowed the car down in time and had to do a bit of avoiding action there. But fair play to Sean. He just about avoided the back of Mashiro. He has cost himself time, but at least he's still got a front wing intact.
Yeah, again, bit of late braking from Sean, really having to go down the gears quite hard and quite aggressive. Nevy right on the back of Mays. He is going to absolutely sail past him, I think, down towards the hairpin. This is the only battle, really, that is on track, because Nevy's obviously just came into the pit. He's down the inside. Mays not really putting up a fight there. It was always going to be Nevy smooth, and he's through, and he's up to P11. But, more notably, out of the point-scoring positions at this stage, throws the championship between these two, as Dill Warren has just made a mistake, wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. And Warren right now is only scoring 1 point as it stands. Of course, we do have the bonus point for fastest lap of the race, but I'm going to safely bet my hat that we're not going to see any more fastest laps of the race. Jeffrey is also in. I don't know why we're not going to see any more fastest laps. Can't see it. But Spike currently has the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.8. So at the moment, he is scoring that bonus point with 11 laps to go. I wonder if it's on the minds of the strategists here. As Jeffrey comes in, he will rejoin in 10th place then on a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Some of the drivers looking to split the stint of this wet stint in twain. Some of them might look to go to the end of the race. It's going to be a very interesting call, whichever side of the coin you flip.
Those that are going on a fresh set of inters now, I think will be better off towards the end of the race. 10 laps to go, pretty much. Recon leads. Well, we've just gone on to the 10th last lap, to lap 25. Recon leads by Carlsbury by 2.9 seconds. Spike is in third, still really actually pulling away from Troy at this stage. I'm on board though with Sean, right on the back of Mashiro. Mashiro nearly dips one wheel into the gravel, running wide through turn 12 there, but Sean not looking too bad. He's right on the back of him. It's just whether or not he's got the nerve to really try and get past out on track. And Mashiro, in fact, is into the pits. Yeah,
Mashiro in, looking to split the stint then. So drivers that have stayed out so far: Recon, Carsbury, Spike, Traw, Lighty, Key and Sean. Everyone else behind them has decided to split the strategy, excluding Mays, of course, who stayed out longer than anybody else on those dry tyres. In comes the Williams, on go a set of the inters, and away he goes. So he should rejoin comfortably in 9th place. Most importantly, though, with clear air in front and behind him.
If the guys ahead, I'm just calculating something up myself. Warren is in 8th at the minute. If the guys ahead decide to pit, like Lighty, Key and Sean, Warren will recover and probably get a top 5, maybe a top 4 finish. That is what I'm thinking at this stage. And Recon's in from the lead. Carlsbury continuing out.
Yep, so Recon coming into the pit lane, and this is where mistakes cannot be afforded here. Recon in this position could take the championship lead, especially if Warren right now is only scoring 4 points. He needs to take full advantage of this one. Spike goes through to take 2nd place. Recon rejoins then in 3rd place, and importantly as well, like him and Mashiro, he has clear air ahead of him and clear air behind him as well. So now he's got to get the laps down. Now he doesn't have to focus on getting these tyres to the end. All he can focus now is getting the most out of the tyres to the end of the race. Key is also into the pits, with Sean now taking that position. I think Sean's looking to go to the end of the race and just see what happens. But maybe banking here on a safety car. Of course, in these treacherous conditions, anybody can make a mistake, and a mistake could be penalised with a safety car, and that's really going to hurt those who have just pitted in.
Yeah, especially because it is so treacherous out there, out on track. Obviously, the drivers don't want to afford to get a penalty. This track is hard enough in the dry with the penalties and picking up 3 seconds here and there. Mashiro right on the back of Key. Key's actually just rejoined ahead of him, and Dill Warren beginning to pick them off because everyone around him is pitting in. He's beginning to just jump up that field. You're going to see that effect. And regarding Recon's pit stop, if Cosbury and Spike come in, Recon has won the race, hands down with Shiro. Oh my god, he nearly went into the back of Key down into the hairpin. He completely missed his braking point. And how on earth the Japanese driver did not go into the back of him is credit to him because he avoided him.
Spike into the pits then, as Recon will just take that position away from him. Well, this might put him into the clutches of Traw and Lighty as they make their way now around the final corner at their home track, on towards the start-finish straight then towards turn 1. Where is Spike? He's making his way out of the pit lane here. It's going to be very tight here because Traw and Lighty are going to be coming through at racing speed. But there you see is Spike rejoining onto the track then towards turn 2. And he rejoins ahead of the two Germans then in towards turn 2. And now can focus with his fresher tyres on just trying to pull away.
Yeah, over the last couple of laps in that stint, he was pulling away by a couple of tenths per lap. So it'd be interesting to see what on a fresh set of tyres he can do. Troy and Lighty still battling. I don't think these two want to let up. These guys, I think, will probably go to the end of the race. They're in a bit of a battle between themselves for 4th and 5th currently at this stage. It could potentially be for a podium if things go their way. But with Troy and Lighty, they've been so close and so consistent. I don't think these guys will let up. Saying that, they'll probably come into the pit to start. You watch.
Yeah, curse the commentator, don't we call it? Something like that?
Commentator's curse, yeah.
Well, Carsbury has stayed out for another lap. Lap 28, I think he's planning to stay out till the end of the race. So it really is a race between Carsbury and Recon here. Recon will, of course, want to score as many points as possible. Carsbury in the same scenario. He's 4 points behind Recon. So, of course, if Carsbury wins this race, there's a chance he could also become the championship leader. So it is all to play for between the two of them as they try and mop up Warren and Navy's torrid race so far. Lighty was right on the back of Traw, but didn't quite get the exit of turn 17 right. Traw running wide on the exit of 1 onwards towards turn 2. That's going to benefit Lighty then as we head now in towards turns 2, 3 and 4. Just watch that gap between Carsbury and Recon, currently 10.9 seconds as Lighty applies the power down that parabolica through turn 5, and there you can see up to mode 4 on the ERS overtake mode, but you can see there it's not quite enough. He comes tantalisingly close to wanting to make a move, but there's just not one on the cards right now.
He can't get the grip out of turn 4. That's what Lighty's problem is at this stage. Troll ahead, just really getting the power down. He's got enough of an advantage over Lighty to really maintain that advantage. Saying that, Lighty is just nearly careered wide coming through the Mercedes-Benz turn at turn 8. Carsbury is into the pits from the lead of the race.
Well, I didn't expect that, that's for sure. But now the Alfa Romeo into the pits then from the lead. Now go on to a set of intermediate tyres to get to the end of the race. Now the thing is, with these intermediate tyres there, you can see that the middle of the tyre there was almost a slick. That's how worn they were towards the end of their stint. But now he'll rejoin. He'll rejoin on 3-lap fresher tyres than Recon.
Yeah, he rejoins it easily in second as well, so free track ahead of Spike. He's got 3 laps fresher tyres over Recon, as you say, 2 laps fresher tyres over Spike. It's going to suit him well towards the end of the race. Whether or not he can pull in that advantage to Recon, I don't think that is possible. 7.2 seconds with 5.5 laps to go. He's got to be cutting off at a rate of around 8 tenths a second per lap, maybe even more than that per lap. It's very unlikely for Carsbury to get the win now.
Well, let's have a wait and see what happens. Lighty's still looking for that move. Carsbury 7.3 behind. We'll have to also keep an eye on that gap. Navy, meanwhile, is looking to try and get a solitary point in this race so far. It really hasn't been a great day for him, and a day of what could have been, because he's made one more stop than the entire field. Navy, 3-second time penalty added to the end of his race there for that latest violation in corner cutting, heading now down towards turn 6, and again just not a way through for him right now. We know Navy loves a good move down the inside, that's for sure, but we know he's a measured driver. He knows when exactly to make those moves.
He might get the move down towards turn 8 here, actually. I thought he had the power. He looked like he was actually close enough. Carsbury picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is track extension at turn 1, I do believe that, looking at the track map. Navy right on the back, though, of Jeffrey. We've still got that Troll and Lighty battle. 3-second time penalty for Troll. That was through turn 1. And again, they're not relinquishing that battle at all. They'll be for 4th and 5th right to the line now. I think it is wasteful to pit in at this stage in the race. Same with Sean in 6th position. But Navy and Jeffrey beginning to hot up. McLaren versus Mercedes for the final point scoring position.
Heading now down towards turn 1 again. The two Germans of Trot and Lighty holding ground here in towards turn 6. And again, just...
Tell you what... Sorry, I'll tell you what, the rain's getting a lot heavier out on track.
You're right. You're absolutely right there. Now, I wonder if that... Well, it could have a significant effect towards the end of the race. Mays actually comes in. Now, I wonder if this is going to be for full wet. It is!
Full wet?
For full wet tyres then, for Mays.
Oh, so Navy! Sorry, Navy going down the inside of the hairpin, got the move done. So, you did say he likes an inside move, and that was done down on the straight. Navy threw up the P10. Good move. And Mays, yeah, he's on a full set of wets.
Full wet tyres then for Mays, so let's see what the grip levels are like out there. Obviously, he goes to the right-hand side of the track there, because that's where all the standing water is. That's the main point. If you start to see standing water out on the track, chances are full wet tyres aren't far away. And if you see massive puddles out there, full wets is it's probably too late to go on full wets, because you've probably already aquaplaned off the track. However, Mays here making his way down towards turn 6 to see the grip levels through the low-speed corners. They won't be too bad. Pretty much on par with the intermediates, but there you can see still looking for the wetter part of the track to try and keep these tyres cool right now through turn 7. And yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Nothing out of the ordinary on those full wet tyres, but of course with more grip, with more grooves in the tyre, it will mean that he's a little bit slower, a little bit less contact or surface contact with the track, therefore less grip outright. However, Lighty right on the back of Traw then, in these tricky conditions, it gets even more difficult to see out there, especially when you're the one following the car ahead. There you can see Lighty just getting a face full of spray as he makes his way there down towards turn 12. I think it's raining so hard that the drivers just at their home there will be looking for the towel there, as Mays has actually lost it through the penultimate corner on the wet tyres.
Yeah, the delta time definitely looking like it is still in Inter's condition. There was about a second lost from Jeffrey to Mays before that spin actually happened. Mays running wide there through turn 2. Through the first corner. That's why the yellow flags are out. Lighty's still on the back of Troll, still for 4th and 5th. Whether he can try and get the move done in the last couple of laps or so remains to be seen. It just hasn't been close enough, has he?
It's been tantalisingly close, hasn't it? Lighty's had a couple of opportunities, but just not quite been alongside or not been quite close enough to get the move done. So he's had to stay behind the Renault, and that's when it can get really frustrating when you're behind the car ahead for a number of laps. And you just think, you know what, screw it, I'm going to launch it down the inside. And that's where it can get really tricky. But I know Traw and Lighty are such good friends off the track. If there's going to be a move, it's going to be done fairly.
Yeah, of course it will be done fairly between these two. Troll and Lighty still 7/10 of a second away. Mishiro coming under a little bit of pressure from Navy further down the field. It's 8/10 of a second, the gap. The gap is just beginning to close between them two. Could be an interesting battle towards the final lap of the race. Oh, Lighty's in the wall! Lighty is in the wall! What on earth happened there? Looked like he got caught on the curb and he's forced himself. The curb has actually flung him to the left side where the wall is. And he's out the race. I cannot believe what I've just seen.
Well, Lighty from 5th place is out of the German Grand Prix. And Dylan Warren there is slightly onto the grass. Maybe expecting a VSC there. None deployed so far. Just the yellow flags at Sector 3. That's all that will need to cover it. So heading towards the last couple of laps. That's going to promote everyone up a position. Green flags there through turn 12 now. The incident has been cleared. So we can go racing in that sector. But, yeah, that's going to promote everyone up a position behind him. So, Sean up to 5th, Warren up to 6th, Key in 7th, Mashiro 8th, Navy now into 9th with Jeffrey in 10th. And eventually, Mays will take 11th place there. But Recon, at this moment in time, leading the way as we make our way through turn 12. He just has to keep his cool here and keep that head in the game through turn 13. Now you can see there, just so tricky in these conditions. It was tricky in the intermediate conditions. I can't imagine how tricky it is out there on tyres that are prone to waterlogging, especially when the rain starts falling.
Navy right on the back of Mashiro coming down towards the hairpin. I'm just on board with this. See if Navy can go switch back down the inside. Surely not from Navy. If he can pull this off move, he can. Navy's got the car ahead. What a move that is from Navy. That's one to put in the record books. Navy goes up to P8. Mashiro not backing down without a fight, but he holds on to the position, does Navy. Fantastic move. Good piece of driving that.
Yeah, great stuff from Navy. Now puts himself up to 8th place in a race that he might have written off. Those important points could be crucial towards the end of the season here. Recon is on the final lap of the race as Sean and Dylan Warren. Sean has a puncture,
Sean's
yes.
got rear right. He's got rear right.
And that is the problem with trying to take these tyres to the end. That will send massive alarm bells to the Renault garage right now. It may only be the final lap of the race, but still, he's got to try and hold on to these tyres right now. So let's see what happens then with the Renault as he makes his way now through Parabolica. Keep an eye on those tyres. It's going to be so crucial for the German here. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack then, Recon making his way now through Sachs Curve. 8.1 seconds clear of the car behind Carlsbury, making his way through the chicane now and onwards towards the final couple of corners. It is Recon here who will cross the line to win the German Grand Prix. What a race it was, and Recon kept his cool and gets it to the checkered flag to win here in Germany. Carlsbury will cross the line in second place then, and Spike will cross the line in third. Troy has that puncture. He's had that puncture. Side. He surely has to limp it home. Dylan Warren here surely will see this as a massive opportunity now. Let's ride on board with him as he makes his way through turn 12. There is Troll there trying to limp it home through turn 13. Can he keep it on the track? He leaves it out of the way though for Warren. Warren gets up to 4th place in a race here where Warren has been here, there and everywhere, all over the track, on the grass, in the gravel, you name it, he's been there. He's managed to get 4th place in this race. That's a commendable drive there. And Key nicks 5th place away from Troll on the line here. Troll will limp the car home in 6th place then. Navy crosses the line in 7th. Mashiro crosses the line in 8th place there, with Jeffrey crossing the line in 9th. And Sean, with a brand new set of tyres, will unfortunately finish down in 10th place. But there is your race winner here in Germany for his 2nd race win of the season. Recon on top in Germany. Can we race at Germany every week? What a race that was. Dry to wet to even more wet, and a safety car thrown into the mix as well. What a race we had, and Recon kept his cool to take the win here in Germany.
Fantastic win for Recon, taking the win here. The Ferrari team will be proud, and I do believe he takes the championship lead with it as well. So an even better day for Recon. Fantastic drive, I've got to say, though, from Dill Warren. I will come on to him in just a second as we'll see the full rundown of the order very shortly indeed.
Absolutely, and here come your official, unofficial results here for the German Grand Prix. It is Recon with his 2nd race win of the season. Carlsbury in 2nd. Spike, his personal best finish of the season. Finally, redemption for him. He gets a podium here, back where he belongs. Warren in 4th with Key in 5th. Draw in 6th with Navy 7th. Mashiro in 8th. Jeffrey in 9th. And Sean, with that late puncture, gets a point to his name with Mays in 11th place. Lighty crashing out late on in this race. Well, if it was normal Formula 1, he would be classified as 12th place as he made it past 90% race distance. But King J, Gort, Westy, all out of this race. Fastest lap of the race went to Spike. 116.8 from him, so he will actually score 19 points rather than 18. But Recon with his 2nd race win of the season. That's going to be a healthy 13 points against Dylan Warren here, which, as you say, means we have a new championship leader in Recon heading towards round number 7.
I believe you might have just said Spike is picking up 19 points. I think he's picking up 16.
He has picked up 16. See, that was a test, you see. Well, what a race that was. I mean, a safety car thrown in there. I'm glad you enjoyed your first safety car, James. But I have to say, a great race. Weather thrown into the mix, it really separated those drivers who had the setup and had the car control. Obviously, with Dylan Warren loading the wrong setup, whatever happened there could have been the difference between him winning today and him finishing fourth. In fact, it could have ended a lot worse for him than it did.
Yeah, of course, drama later on with the 2 punctures with Sean and indeed also with Troll as well. Warren, I did say a few laps ago that he could be on for top 4. It's the unlikeliest scenario you can have actually to pick up a 4th position. Full credit to him for sticking on by, because at one point I think he was 11th and I think he was on the verge pretty much of giving up, if I've got to be honest. But credit to him, he's came on through the field and has judged the scenario right. And just reiterating what I said earlier on about the strategy, don't listen to me. The Inters can't last 20 laps around here. You get a puncture.
They can last 20 laps, but if you take them 21 or 22, absolutely not. So you were right. It's just that they tried to take him further than 20 laps, and that's a no-no.
Yeah.
So that will pretty much do it, James, with the new championship leader in Recon. Obviously, of course, those were the official, unofficial results. Make sure you do follow the league on Twitter for the official results that will be released tomorrow. That's at TTL_F1. You can follow me on Twitter if you really want to, at KS McGinley. That is MCGINLEY. You can also follow James on Twitter at B52Head. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. The next time TTTV is live, you can join the lovely Mr. James in the commentary box along with Malc for TTSL tomorrow night.
It's a solo one tomorrow. Malc's unavailable.
Oh, okay. So join James then for TTSL tomorrow night. I'm sure you'll get another safety car. I know you will.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, hopefully you will join us for then. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.